All right, here we go. Let's see. All right, dude. All right, I forgot to plug in, obviously. I don't know if you guys can you hear me now or still? Hello, Moon Guy. Hello, Yellow. You can hear me? Chat? All right. I presume that you can hear me now. Anyway, so welcome to another edition of thanks, guys. Another edition of a Bitcoin Q&A. I talk about Bitcoin because I believe it's a great thing for humanity that we get sound money, and at the same time, it is a once in 3 millennia opportunity to make an investment in the new money of the world. I did a video recently explaining my $20 million target on Bitcoin, which I believe will happen this decade. And that video really is made to be a good explanation of why Bitcoin is money, what is money, and therefore, because Bitcoin is so good, it will take over as money of the world. And my end target for that is $20 million per Bitcoin by the end of this or sometime during this decade. But now I want to take the opportunity to say thank you to my more than 3,000 copiers on Etoro. I have a profile there as a so-called public, a popular investor. It's called copy trader, where people that are not sure what they're doing and what they should do can allocate money to copy someone, and then whatever I do happens for them in real time. So thank you to those 3,558 copiers that have allocated a total of more than $12 million. And thank you to the 147,000 followers I have on eToro, and anyone tuning in right now and watching. Let me try and get to the point. So little bit on my trading strategy. My strategy is that we are clearly in a bull run that always gets triggered by the halving. I mean, we haven't had a cut in supply of Bitcoin without triggering a significant bull run, simply because price of everything is determined by supply and demand. Supply is cut in half of Bitcoin every 4 years. It's known as the halving. You know, that means we are in a bull run with some knowledge and understanding of previous bull runs to give us a clear idea of what to expect. And that's why I will say, you know, it is silly to be very kind to not have 100% exposure to Bitcoin. I consider all coins for garbage. I do explain that also in other videos. I did one recently why all coins are S-coins. I did another one on Gresham's law. It's only an 8-minute law video explaining why anything else but Bitcoin is absolute nonsense and is likely to lose your money. In my opinion, none of what I say here is financial advice. You choose your and I can see we have reached 58,000 on price of Bitcoin. So that is great. During the live trade here, or the live stream. So short term, I have some expectations due to the bull run. I have an expectation that we will reach minimum $300,000 for Bitcoin this year. You know, latest sometime this year, likely Q3. And I would not be surprised if we hit also $500,000 per Bitcoin in Q3. Now, that is, again, it's not financial advice, but that is, you know, what I think is a likelihood and easily could happen. Now, I am doing this really to do Q&A. For any of you, dear copiers, or anyone generally interested in Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin is my passion. I love to talk about Bitcoin. I spent, I guess, close to 10,000 hours educating myself over the last several years. So yeah, I do this for fun, really. So Anyone, you can start shooting some questions in the chat if you're interested. Otherwise, I will just keep babbling on about Bitcoin. So here's one chat. Dogecoin. Dogecoin, I don't see as anything that I have a long-term or even short-term expectation for being a good thing to be holding. There is only Bitcoin. Since I don't really have much or further questions in the chat so far, let me talk about oh yeah, I had an idea. Where did that go now? Yeah, so yeah, let's just talk general. I can jump into, this is what I want to say. I can jump into why do I think that anything else but Bitcoin is garbage and will lose value. Well, for a blockchain to be secure, which is necessary if you want to use it as money, you obviously need the blockchain to be secure. You need to have a valuable token. Now, Bitcoin clearly is very, very valuable and way more valuable than anything else. That means that for anyone thinking of acquiring some blockchain money, of which I only believe Bitcoin is relevant, you will be choosing something that is not only more stable, solid programming, best programmers, smartest people in the world, which is the ones working on the Bitcoin protocol. You also want one with that has significant hash power. Now, Bitcoin's hash power, which is the computer power securing the network, is way bigger than even number 2 blockchain. So for that reason, significant money, smart money, educated money will be going to Bitcoin as a place to store value. You don't want to store value in a place that is, you know, on some random blockchain that has scaling problems like Ethereum has, or just generally have a very low hashing power. You want to go somewhere where your money is more secure. Again, no financial advice here. I'm just sharing my opinion. So money, and this is Gresham's law. I can cover it now since there's not really too many questions. I'll get to them. Money is a winner takes all game. And because money is a winner takes all game, and this is Gresham's law, then you end up having one money, which means you end up having only one token on one blockchain really have value, which means that the other blockchains won't be secure. And it really is a natural black hole gravity kind of natural law, meaning you end up with one money, which is the strongest money, because why would you put your value anywhere where you can't be trusted? So I get that question a lot. I get it every day on Etoro. I believe everything else is garbage. It's created with the sole focus or purpose of enriching the founders, like Ethereum and Vitalik Buterin and his co-founders. There's nothing there really, in my opinion, that is useful. None of them are solving any problems that Bitcoin is not solving now or have in the pipeline to solve. And sometimes, yes, it takes a little longer time to roll this out on Bitcoin. That's because stability and security is #1 priority. You don't want to create something that then easily can be tampered with, hacked, or whatever. And I put my money on Bitcoin, and I prefer that it is a stable and reliable, and in my opinion, safe blockchain. And but all of these altcoins, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, etc., created to enrich the founders that gave themselves a large portion of the tokens when they launched them, and so they have a clear skewed financial incentive to pump those bags and make you interested and make you want to buy it, so they can get your Bitcoin when you buy their token. So I think, okay, enough covered on that. So let me see what we've got questions here. Once again, let's just throw this one on the screen. We were touching 58,000. Right now we're slightly below, but Let's see here. So Grace, yeah, 73,700 before March 26. Yeah, that'd be great. I don't know if I believe it, but I do believe we'll reach 100,000 probably in April. That I will not say is like an expectation that we should rely on, but I just think that April is realistic, to be honest. So the thing with, we are in a bull run now. That is an undisputed fact. And bull runs, this is very important. Bull runs do not get flatter. Bull runs get steeper. That is, I mean, that's not only for Bitcoin, it's for all bull runs. They have a parabolic, even on a logarithmic chart. They have a parabolic curve, which essentially in layman term is that the price goes up faster over time. Again, nothing goes up in a straight line. There will be corrections. There will be dips. Those are all buy the dip opportunities. And I will be buying the dip all the way until I believe that we are getting close to a potential FOMO peak. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. So that as a bull run curve gets steeper and steeper and steeper, in the end, it is so steep that it's hard to avoid and a blow off where then the price corrects hard. Let me say about my expectations that, yeah, I believe we will have some buy the dips and likely very, some hard corrections probably around Q3 after 300,000. I don't see something substantial until after 300,000 this year. So, and that's my strategy on eToro, fully allocated as long as I expect us to pump hard. And then sometime after sometimes after 300,000, that's where I will pay special attention to the possibility of that, normal bull run top and blow off and hard correction. And I don't think we will do 85% down, same as the last bull run. We had the last bull run in peaking the 17th of December, 2017, the day that CME launched their Bitcoin futures. That was a kind of buy the rumor, sell the news event. And then Bitcoin lost 85% value down to 3,100. So I don't expect something, well, I don't expect this kind of correction to happen ever again. I don't expect Bitcoin to at all get near to an 85% correction. I don't see at all any prolonged bear market. I think the days for bear markets, let's say at least 12 months bear market, will not happen again. I'm willing to take that bet with anyone. Not for a lot of money. I'm not a betting man, but for the fun of it, I don't see any long bear market. I don't see it being more than 6 months, likely a lot less, because we are watching dirty fiat currency like dollar, euro, etc. We're pretty much watching it collapse in real time. In my opinion, this bull run curve is steeper than where I think I expected it, and a lot of people expected it. So what we're seeing is really a because it now, due to COVID stimulus, destruction of the dollar, for instance, to take that as an example, since now, I mean, I'm doing this eToro on US. Because that stimulus hyper printing of the currency has made companies aware that holding dollar on the balance sheet is actually a guaranteed loss. They printed 30–40% more the last 12 months alone. And for that reason, companies have realized that they need to put their funds in a store of value. It has become very clear for everyone now that the dollar, fiat currency in general, is not a place to store value. It's always been bad at storing value since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. The dollar has lost more than 97% of its purchasing power. They managed to convince most of us that it's good for us. No, it is not good for us, that the value of our savings are destroyed but it is an advantage for the government because they don't need to ask permission to raise $3 trillion worth of value that they can spend at military or stimulus or whatever they want. In the first place, we wouldn't be in this situation if we didn't have this fastly diluting fiat currency. So we wouldn't need to do stimulus if people had a sound money, which means one that is capped with a low inflation rate in this circulating amount. Calling inflation rate or prices increasing inflation rate is a joke. If you see the currency expand by 30-40%, that is this inflation of the supply. Why do you start making it difficult for yourself to cherry pick consumer prices that don't look bad, so you can hide that assets go up substantially in price? Real estate going up, stocks going up. It's not real value being created. It's this destruction of the US dollars. All right, let me see if there's some questions here. Tony Hunt, by the way, all of you watching, I can see we have 59 live viewers now. Thank you all for tuning in and giving me this opportunity to talk about Bitcoin, which I love. Anders, do you have a day job? We as in your happy hour. Oh, you were in happy hour yesterday, entertaining. Yeah, so happy hour, toxic happy hour, where we are toxic towards scams that delay the adoption of global sound money, is something that I'm doing with my good friend Poppy, as I call him, and that's where we have we say we enter the pub, we have a beer or drink, and then we talk about Bitcoin. We were doing that for 2.5 years when I told Poppy, I have this YouTube channel. I haven't had time to work on it for a while. Why don't we take our conversations that we enjoyed having every single week on the phone and put them live and let people, listen and share get some input from what we think. And that has been quite successful. We had some really, really interesting guests on Toxic Happy Hour, big names in the Bitcoin space. And it's great for me and Poppy. We get to talk to these really amazing, visionary people and learn from that. And we have fun with the chat at the same time. We have the best chat in the space, as we say, in the Bitcoin space, because we have some really genius memers hanging out in the chat. I saw Yellow was there early on. There's Greggy as well. He's probably busy doing memes for Strike though now. So day job. I've been working with internet since 1996, and I still have some clients that I do Google Ads consulting for. But so the good thing for my copiers in Etoro is that Etoro have a incentive scheme. So I do get paid for the work that I do there, and that allows me to do a better job being focused on Bitcoin pretty much all the time, to create content, write analysis and post on Etoro. There's a link to my Etoro profile page down below on YouTube in the show notes, and there you can see I do several posts a week. I update my copiers and followers on my expectations for the bull run, etc. So I do that, but I'm not interested in any new clients on Google Ads. My passion has absolutely 100% switched to Bitcoin. That's what I enjoy doing. So doing Toxic Happy Hour with Poppy, although there's absolutely no money in doing something on YouTube. I think we have like $3 a day in average on YouTube advertising that we finally reached 1,000 subscribers, so we can activate that. So we're not doing Toxic Happy Hour for the money. We're doing it because we love it. We love to have that conversation, etc. So online advertising is what, especially Google search advertising, where I help my clients to be visible on the first page of Google. That was my passion for many, many years. I absolutely loved it. Well, then Bitcoin came along. That's where I ended up spending I don't know, 8 hours a day researching and thinking about and analyzing. So that's a question. So I believe XMR is Monero. I mentioned it earlier also why I believe that all coins are junk coins. So I believe that is junk that has no future whatsoever, at least in the long term. So this is a good one. Need to just give my voice a break. I think so. The thing with Toxic Happy Hour is I have my dear friend also once a while being able to interrupt me and say something, which is not interrupting me. It is me who talk too much. That gives my voice a break, which I don't have anyone pushing me to have a break. So I think 2 times ago I did a live stream, or two live streams ago that I did alone with a focus on Etoro, Copiers and followers, and general Bitcoin Q&A. I was afraid I had caught Corona afterwards because I really had pain in my throat. And I think it was just my voice that I overstrained. So do allow me to catch my breath and get a drink here. I'll be back. All right. Regulation will not kill Bitcoin. Governments don't like Bitcoin because Bitcoin is taking away the strongest part of the power foundation of any government, and that's the ability to print money and do whatever they want without raising it as taxes. Inflation and money printing is indirect tax where you don't have to be asked permission. So they don't like it, and for that reason, CIA in 2012 put down a commission to finish Bitcoin, kill Bitcoin, and they realized that they can't do it. So anything you hear about that, it's FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's FUD. There's nothing to fear there, in my opinion. They can do, they can be like a mosquito stick or mosquito bite or whatever you call it, that it'll be a little bit annoying and itching for a little while. It's gonna go away. Governments cannot stop Bitcoin. For that also we have judicial arbitrage where people can move around the world and leave anywhere where they're not their Bitcoin are not allowed, and leave those places. So Poppy, no, he does not have does Poppy follow me on Etoro? Poppy doesn't need to follow me on Etoro because he knows what I'm thinking already. There's no issues there. I think, Maxine, you want to do, all right, that's a general question. You guys can answer. Grace, all right, let's see what this question, when would you guess that it would surpass gold's market cap? So I think that is like a 10x from here. It's absolutely on the table as a possibility that Bitcoin surpasses gold in this bull run, which means it could happen, I believe, this year. It could happen as early as Q3, but maybe we don't. Maybe we'll reach only $300,000 or $400,000, which, by the way, is really, really close to gold's market cap. Have a hard correction, hard crash, 40-50%, something like that. We saw 31% in January. It's not the end of the world as long as you give Bitcoin a 4-year time horizon. At looking any time in Bitcoin's history, you need to understand this 4-year cycle. If you look back at what price you bought and look back 4 years, and even you bought and then it goes down, look back 4 years, you've always been up 900% or several thousand%. So don't have a short-term focus on your holding Bitcoin, and don't think you need to take profit and start trading the short-term, because it's likely that the train is just leaving the station. That doesn't mean that I may not start to do that a little bit on Etoro, but with very few percent. But Mayer multiple, which is the 200-day moving average divided by the current price, or it's opposite. It's current price divided by 200-day moving average. It says something about how heated how fast the price of Bitcoin has gone up. The last two corrections we had, January, February, they kind of peaked around the same level of Mayer multiple, about 2.7. So historically this year, it has been a good time to start doing this. But in general, I absolutely advise against short-term day trading Bitcoin, because we don't know what's going to happen short-term. And why do you want to trade something that's going to go up likely more than 100x from here? Just to repeat for the people that joined the stream recently, I expect for Bitcoin to go up to a price target of $20 million this decade. All right, so let me see what else we got. Saya Sasa, hello and welcome. What we got? Let's see here. Okay, so this parabolic rise, first of all, 300,000 is my minimum. Thanks for the question, CP. That's my minimum target. I see we could easily hit 500,000 again. Q3, I think, would not be unlikely that this happens. I think now we're starting to see companies actually be the driving force of purchasing Bitcoin. MicroStrategy with Michael Saylor, who is the founder and CEO and has majority voting power in that company, has started the trend by taking every single $1 million that MicroStrategy had on the balance sheet and put it into Bitcoin, because due to the stimulus dilute the dollar, that it was not a good place to hold his company assets in the dollar. He moved it to Bitcoin because Bitcoin, unlike real estate and stocks, is a super liquid store of value. It's traded 24/7, always, every single second. Bitcoin can be traded, which is one of the reasons it's better. And also it's just better than stocks and real estate for so many obvious reasons, where you are dependent on either an area or a company doing well, which you're not with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, if you look at what money is, then it's clear that Bitcoin is money. That video I did last week, I think it was, on the $20 million price target. I really go into depth describing what money is, why Bitcoin is money, and why it's the best money the world has ever seen, and why that will take Bitcoin to $20 million. I did that video because it's a good, I think, a good explanation that people find useful to understand the potential and understand that it's logical and rational that Bitcoin will hit $20 million. And it's a video that I think it's the feedback that I'm getting that you can find useful sharing with friends and family that you want to understand the potential of Bitcoin. Anyways, so yeah, I think it's coming from the bull run will be there, regardless. But yeah, I think it will be mainly companies like, well, MicroStrategy not only allocated all of their dollars, they also started selling convertible bonds, which is actually a direct, public, and apparent and clear attack on the dollar, because they're shorting the dollar by taking up loan in the dollar, turning around and putting all of it into Bitcoin. And then Tesla, after having spoken to Michael Saylor, Elon Musk, they put $1.5 billion into Bitcoin in January, and every single month this year, probably more and more companies will announce that they allocate a lot of their funds to Bitcoin, and I think that will be the driving driving force in the bull run. All right, question here. When we copy you, if you close your position, our position will be closed as well. Yes. So say you copy me with $500, $1,000, or $10,000. It doesn't matter the amount. Say I sell 2% of my portfolio if I believe the Mayer multiple has taken us to such a, or it indicates that we've gone up a little bit, overheated. I would never trade the whole position. There's just too much risk of Bitcoin going to 20 million before the next halving in April 2024. But when you copy me, then you don't have to do anything. Whatever I do, if I sell 2% of whatever amount you allocated copying me would also sell in real time. Again, just to underline, I will be either at 100% allocated to Bitcoin, or very close to, well, 100% by far most of the time, towards somewhere north of 300,000, potentially north of 500,000, depending how everything pans out. But yeah, the whole point is when you copy, you don't have to do anything. You can lean back. This is a good question. Thoughts on a 51% blockchain attack? This is why Bitcoin is, in my opinion, safe, and altcoins are not safe. They don't have anywhere near, I covered this earlier in the stream, they don't have anywhere near the same amount of hashing power, which is computer power, securing the blockchain against exactly that. So I would never, ever hold any of these altcoins. I only feel comfortable and confident and secure holding Bitcoin. All right. All right. I am way behind on questions. Let me speed up a little bit. What point will I buy back after taking profit at the top? It totally depends on how things develop. I look at this every single day. It totally depends on you know, which events happen, how they unfold. But let's just say there is a top, and I managed to dollar cost average out of Bitcoin, not all of it, because the risk of going to 20 million risk, obviously it's a positive risk, is so big that you know, selling all would be absolutely ludicrous and way too risky, and I have a responsibility to the people who copied me. It depends how things look, but let's say I sell a total of 20%, around 500,000. I would absolutely start buying back if we go down by 30%. Again, it depends. Look, that can be a moving target, but I would not let the price drop more than 25-30% before I start buying significant chunks back. We're not going to go to minus 85%. I'm very sure of that. All right. Danish at THH. I noticed on weekly candles, Heiken Ashi stochastic has been falling for a while. I don't follow those technical indicators. The only technical thing I look at really is, well, there's a TD indicator that I got from Tonebase. There is there's the Mayer multiple. The only thing those are the only two things I look at. But again, overall, the by far most dominant input for me in what I'm doing, and the reason I'm 100% allocated, is looking at the 4-year cycle. That is fundamental, and those fundamentals overrule, in my opinion, any of these short-term things. So I'm sorry, I'm not, you know, if it's very complicated technical, or not complicated, but all of these technical indicators, I don't really, I don't have my focus there on. I think a lot of that will be, you know, great and applicable to normal assets, but Bitcoin has that 4-year cycle. There is a fundamental, there's a fresh supply, which you don't have of stocks. There's not new Amazon stocks being printed or created every 10 minutes, but that is the case with Bitcoin. However, there's a 4-year, you know, cycle where that supply is cut in half, and that is the reason we have a maximum 100% hard cap at 21 million. So I don't look at those. Opinion on metal. So gold used to be the best money the world had ever seen until early January 2009. It has a market cap today of around 10 trillion because it was the best money the world had ever seen. Now that monetary value, which is a big part of the price of gold, is now these years being moved to Bitcoin. So, you know, I would not hold these for the sake of believing that they're going to increase in value. I believe that both of them will fall in value. When we copy, if you close position, our position would be closer. Absolutely, Alex. Day job is pumping. That is pretty much my day job, is to pump my Bitcoin investing. But I don't do it, for pumping something that I don't really believe in. I'm doing it because I believe that I'm helping my friends and my family if I can get them to purchase some Bitcoin and be holders of what is, in my opinion, the future money of the world. Big Sean Harris, here's a guy that I recommend you follow on Twitter. He's making hilarious memes. He's a part of that crew of genius memers. He's a really good guy. He's playing basketball on, I think it is Tenerife. He's an American basketball player, and he's just killing it in European basketball. If I have a responsibility to a friend that I don't want them to go all in, I spoke to one of my best friends earlier today, and I told him you should have minimum 20% in Bitcoin. That is him. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm telling you what I told my friend. I would say anything less than 20% is a bad idea, because right now we have an artificially low interest rate because we have an artificial currency, which is not money. And when the interest rate is artificially low, near zero, we can have artificially high asset prices. Those asset prices are going to get slashed like it's 1929 when Bitcoin finally pushes dollar out as global reserve currency, because the free market interest rate on Bitcoin is closer to 20%. And when you have a 20% free market interest rate, unlike the 0% that the Federal Reserve is offering intraday bank lending or whatever it is, you'll see, mortgages costing more than 20%. If that interest rate stays at that level, you'll see, and that will crash real estate prices. It will crash stock prices. Now, in the unlikely event that Bitcoin doesn't take over as money of the world, maybe it won't. I believe it will. I think there's a 100% chance it will. But if it didn't, then stocks and real estate could be, of course, a good balance to Bitcoin. But because I am so convinced that Bitcoin will take over as money of the world, then I have my entire portfolio 100% in Bitcoin, because not only don't I expect stocks to do great in terms of real value. Look, if they printed 40% more currency and your stock is up with 20%, you actually lost purchasing power. So I see Bitcoin really as the only choice. Yes, gold and silver, I consider that it's not dead, but the monetary value is already dead on silver, I believe, and it's about to die on gold. All right, Tony, you're most welcome. So I don't have a 2x leverage. Because leverage, whenever you do leverage, you have the risk of being stopped out and losing your entire position. So I strongly advise against leverage because you can lose everything. And when you're holding something like Bitcoin and you can buy it today less than 100,000, I mean, right now we're at 58 approximately. If you can buy it today at 58, and there's logical, rational arguments that I did in that video a couple of days ago where I explain why I believe it'll hit $20 million. You don't need to do leverage. Leverage only means you have a risk of losing everything. So I would say stay away from that. Denny C1, I recommend go to my Etoro profile. There is a link down below. You probably already got the answer now from the things I've been saying on this stream. I'm planning to time with a small portion of the portfolio, the top of what I believe it will be the bull run top, and then buy it back cheaper and thereby increase my holdings of Bitcoin. Is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. Buying and holding Bitcoin would be great. But I like this challenge, and I think I can nail it. So that's what I'm doing, and that is the difference. But go read my pinned post on Etoro. There's a link down below. I disagree that privacy has no future. I mean, they want to take our privacy as well, but privacy is coming into Bitcoin with Lightning Network, Taproot, Schnorr, signatures, etc. So I believe we'll have privacy. Yes. $58,000 is the bargain of a lifetime. I'm ashamed. Yeah, you should. You should. I don't own shares. You should be ashamed. If you own shares, it means you didn't buy as much Bitcoin as you physically could. This is Pierre Rochard, who's known. He kind of he pioneered this joke about, why do you even own shares? That means you're bearish on Bitcoin. All right, what else have we got there? The current Maya multiple is the current Maya multiple is 2.33, and a 200-day moving historically has been higher. Yep, that is correct. So what we've seen in this bull run is that 2.7 of the Maya multiple has proven historically in 2021 to be a good time to take some chips off the table and then buy back in a 15 to 30% correction. That's my current input. This is just something I've been seeing yesterday, looking at it. This is what I spend my time on. At your own risk. But I think it's that's looking starting to look interesting. Danish, a super cycle of RIP, Plan B, 208 and so on is not a dream. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I used to say that we would see the final collapse of the dollar in 2026. That's what I used to say until sometime last year, because the COVID stimulus destruction of the currency is really speeding up the collapse of fiat currencies around the world, but especially the dollar's status as global reserve currency, which in my opinion Bitcoin absolutely will take over. And because of what is happening in the world, I think that is probably 50% likelihood or above to happen before the next halving. So in this cycle, that this become the super cycle. Let's see what else we got. How far am I behind? Oh my God, I'm 15 minutes behind. I'll try and catch up, guys. I think there's a chance that the Maya multiple will work, but not at the historic 2.4, because with steeper, money is being printed faster. That's why I had a look at it. I haven't used it yet, but that's why I have a look at it and noticed that the 2.7, 2.8 seemed like a decent target for potentially, but not selling everything. That is so risky. It's risky even to sell half your Bitcoin. During the bull run, you probably won't see me take more than 1, 2, 3, 4% off the table to rebuy it back, because we're in a steep bull run, and anything less than that amount is risky. All right. AKC. All right, what do we got? All right, Denis, I already answered that question because you asked it again. We're waiting. Barry's take, Yeah, absolutely. All right, I see some questions being there several times. I know because it's delayed. No need to ask the question several times. I'll go through everything, but because I'm 15 minutes delayed on the chat, no, this is not necessarily a talk for traders. This is as much a general Bitcoin talk and Q&A for people that are hodling Bitcoin hard and expecting $1 million Bitcoin. This any questions would or are welcome, and it doesn't have to do anything with trading at all. People call me a trader, but essentially I'm hodling on Etoro and doing very little in the. I haven't done any minimum profit taking and trading apart from buying the dip since last year. Hey, Poppy's in the chat. My dear buddy that we're doing Toxic Happy Hour with. That's my thought. Thank you. All right, Daryl, thank you for that. And all right, I am scrolling. Find through the chat here, trying to catch up on questions. I am now only 4 minutes behind on the chat. So you're holding until it reaches 20 million. So yeah, probably 80% I'll never touch on eToro. And I have Bitcoin outside of eToro that I'm not touching at all. So I want to make sure that if we go to 20 million before 2024, by far the majority I'm not touching, because we don't want to be in a position and I have that responsibility to my copiers. I don't want to, us to go to 20 million and we don't have by far the majority of our Bitcoin. If we go to 20 million by the end of this year, which I don't think is likely, it's going to take a little bit more time to fully disrupt and for people to understand what's going on. And for that reason, word of mouth understanding, it takes time to spread that understanding for Bitcoin and what money is. But if that was to happen, I cannot be profit taking, even close to half. That's why it'll probably only be 5, 10, 20, maybe 30% or something, all depending on how the bull run pans out. AK, where have you been all my life? Well, Bitcoin Comics, I'm right here. You're from Bitcoin Twitter, right? So what do you think there will be a pump from the USA COVID $1 trillion stimulus? Well, we're already seeing that. There's no way we would be at $58,000 right now if it wasn't because the government and Federal Reserve decided to destroy the dollar starting March last year. They didn't have a choice, maybe, but that's the problem with fiat currency, where there's no real value behind it. Historically, there's always a little bit too much leverage, and then they don't take enough leverage off when things are good. I mean, even during that good period since 2009 and until COVID, the debt of the U.S. government still grew, even though in a good times you're supposed to pay off on the debt. So they're destroying the currency, and it is not in our interest to have a currency that constantly loses the value and destroys the savings that people have. What or where is THH? So THH is on the same channel as this YouTube channel. So if you subscribe and hit notifications, you will know when we go live. If you follow me on Twitter, I have the same handle on Twitter at Anders_, as I do have on eToro. I don't have the Twitter link below, maybe a mistake, but if you go to my eToro profile, for which there's the link down below, then in my pin post, you'll find the link to my Twitter. But THH is Toxic Happy Hour. It's short for Toxic Happy Hour that I'm doing with Poppy. And this is where we have amazing guests, some of the smartest, most visionary people in Bitcoin. We have them as guests. And sometimes we just do Toxic Happy Hour is just me and Poppy, talking and freestyling. For us, the concept is we enter the pub, we have a coffee, a beer, or a shot, or a drink, or whatever, and then we just have a good time talking Bitcoin, and we interact a whole lot with the chat, which is hilarious. I must say there's parental guidance on the chat. Yeah, we had Pierre Rashad on. We had an amazing, and by still the far most watched episode of Toxic Happy Hour was in January, where Pierre Rashad, who is really a guy who's been around for a long time, an OG, a really smart Bitcoiner with great perspectives, wisdom. He was coming on in I think it was late January. And then Preston Pish, who's another like one of the most important people in Bitcoin in terms of adding value, in terms of developing train of thought and new ideas and understanding of Bitcoin. He decided 45 minutes before going live that he would like to gate crash. And we're like, yeah, we want Preston Pish is the guy that we have been dreaming to get on Toxic Happy Hour, just like Pierre himself, since the beginning of we started Toxic Happy Hour around September last year. Yeah, when we started, we had 25 views on the first episode, and Preston Pish and Pierre Rashad drew in, I think, 1,700. Yeah, $100,000, my prediction. I spoke about it earlier. I think there's a good chance that happens in April. Let's see. All right, top roller in the house. If you're still there, really good guy, a friend on Bitcoin Twitter. He bought an inflatable boat, and we are all invited. That is awesome. Yeah, that's right. The big difference is on Toxic Happier. I've got my good friend Puppy. I don't know what he's doing right now. If he has time to be in the chat, he should have time to be in the stream. Well, I know he doesn't. He's busy. So hanging out in the chat is a whole lot easier. That's right. That was my app. Sound like a doorbell. All right, Coffee Madness. If I add money to my copy, will it be put into Bitcoin right away, or will it go onto next time you add? So make sure to add funds to open trades. If you don't add funds to open trades, the train is leaving the station without you. Always add it to open trades. Right. What else? Oh, okay. Guys, it's the Chinese food delivery. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and we had an episode, as I mentioned, with Jeff Booth, the author of this book, The Price of Tomorrow. I highly recommend it. It'll help you understand why sound money, which means money that is not destroyed constantly by dilution, which is one of the things that brought the Roman Empire to its knees, was that they started out having the gold denarii, or whatever it was called, being 100% gold. Then they kept diluting it, I believe, with bronze, and you destroy the faith and credibility of the money, which is going from being money not able, which can store value, to something that is just a currency that can't store value, and it is a cancer of inside a regime. There's no global reserve currency that has lasted more than approximately 100 years. Because they can't resist the temptation to give themselves a little bit more purchasing power by diluting it. But the problem is that dilution then is a cancer eating up that global reserve currency from inside, and usually they don't last more than a century. We've had more global reserve currencies than the US dollars. We've had Holland, the guilder, I think it was, the British pound, I think Portugal as well. There's been several, and they don't last more than 100 years. In my opinion, the dollar is dying. This decade is collapsing. That's why I don't hold more dollars than I need to pay rent and immediate costs in the near future. Can't write the all right. I see you, Big Sean. What do we got? What do we got? Is Poppy CIA? No, I think I can confirm he's not. He's too good of yeah, no, that's a good joke, but there's nothing to that. I can attest. All right, let me just check my app here. Apologies, or not apologies. I'm doing this for free, so are we good? We good. Yeah, Pierre Rashad. We already had him on in January. Go back and watch that show. That was fire. Pierre Rashad and Preston Pish. I sometimes have a problem consuming out Bitcoin content that is not from recent. But I must say that, for instance, even Jeff Booth in December. Sure, December is some time ago. Bitcoin was only about 20,000 at the time. But the discussions we have are not focused on short-term price. We're having general principle discussions about money, about central banks, about Bitcoin, obviously, which is connecting all of those dots. Yes, Puppy. Oh, yeah. So there's a good one, Puppy. I see you. But I don't see you here on the screen with me, Toxic Happier, which is we're not going to have Toxic Happier also next week. Puppy is busy, but tomorrow I will be on Adam Meister's show. Adam Meister is 9 a.m. PST Pacific time, doing one of his amazing Friday pounds where he has different guests and go through different topics. And I have the pleasure of joining him tomorrow at 9 a.m. PST, and I'll be on that for about 45 minutes. So yes, Puppy is saying here we had a recent video with Greg Foss, absolute fire, runaway success on our channel. crossed 1,000 views now. I highly recommend it. So yeah, this is running. We're doing Toxic Happy Hour, and I do this Etoro, General Bitcoin QA, all of on the same channel. That way, you know, both of the things kind of, you know, help spread the word about the other one. It's all easy, one place to find. So, you know, if you subscribe and hit notification, blah blah blah, then you'll be notified even if you don't see me or Poppy posting it on Twitter or on Etoro. That is correct. Are you Rock-Ape from Denmark? Because you know exactly how CIA in Denmark is called. Gap Daddy Foss. Yeah, so one of the things, the reason why Greg Foss is called, has got a new nickname after Toxic Happy Hour. Toxic Happy Hour is where we new things happen. I would say that due to our wonderful chat and hilarious and our amazing guests, sometimes that interaction is changing the direction or influencing a bit of the things that are going on with the memes and let's call it, you know, Bitcoin Twitter culture. Udi also was an episode, and he influenced the memes that that Labrahodl at Labrahodl6 is creating on Twitter, which is quite hilarious. And I don't want to say, I don't want to go too much into the, but Gap Daddy Foss, the reason he became Gap Daddy Foss is because he said, look, one day you'll go to bed, Bitcoin is below 100,000 or it's at 100,000. You wake up next morning, it's at 400,000. So this is the gap he spoke about. Now that was not, you know, either a expectation or financial advice from Gap Daddy Foss. It was just, he was saying like, that's how fast it can go. Yeah, so that's why he got that name, I guess. You are most welcome, Chris Pearson. I love doing this. I love talking about Bitcoin. I'm so happy and fortunate today that talking about Bitcoin, thinking about Bitcoin, analyzing Bitcoin, spreading the word about Bitcoin has become pretty much a full-time life for me. It's honestly just living the dream, totally enjoying, loving my life here, to be honest. Meister, Adam Meister, yes, he's a legend. He's been there in the space since 2014 and helping a lot of people stay on the course, focus on Bitcoin, focus on the long term. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, strong hands. Don't panic sell. Look, when there's a correction or a dip or whatever, we buy the dip. We don't sell when the price is down. So yeah, I never sell when the price is down. This bull run that I believe I can time, and that's what will be public available performance data. That is not selling when it's corrected. That would be, you know, sell some, a little bit, not too much, a little bit, but when I believe we're near the top. And I have I spent a lot of time studying the previous bull runs, and yeah, I believe I have a good shot at it. But you know, it's at your own risk. Obviously, buying and holding Bitcoin and doing nothing is phenomenal. But with my portfolio of 100% Bitcoin on eToro, I won't sell much because there's again that positive risk, which is obviously a good thing, that Bitcoin will go straight to $20 million before April 2024, where the next halving happens. So there is that chance and likelihood that Bitcoin doesn't have another 4-year cycle and bear market, but basically, you know, price breaks to the upside. The historic trend of having cycle, 4-year cycle with bull run, a top, a bear market. I don't see that bear market anymore. It would be short term if it is no way it's going to be 12 months. Probably won't even be 6 months. Maybe it's 4 months. Maybe it's 1 month, in which case it's hardly a bear market, but more of a correction. Pink scarf equals Politiets Efterretningstjeneste, the PET, which is like the CIA of Denmark. Yeah, I doubt it. But yeah, whatever. Let's go with the flow. No, this is very important. Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes to $20 million, trying to time the short term entry point is extremely futile, and I would say too big of a risk of missing the train. So I recommend anyone now to go in with well, no recommendations, no financial advice, where everything you do on your own responsibility. And I have to say that because this is US, everybody sues everybody, so I can't say you should do something. I can only say what my opinion is, and then you make your choice. It's just the way it is in this country. So what I tell my friends, and my opinion is, we're in a bull run. I would say go heavy. A minimum, put if you have, put at, I would say put at least 70% of the funds you want to allocate in now, if not all of it, and then spread the remaining over, say, 14, 20, 25 days. I would absolutely not, especially right now where we came out of the correction that went from 58 to what, 42 or something, 45, 44. So that's the pattern. We're coming out of that correction. Now we're back at the previous all-time high from earlier in end of February, I believe it was, where we touched 58. And that means now we're coming from below and it's going up. So I would not wait. When I buy the dip, it's basically a matter of, do I have available funds lying around, some dollar in my bank account? If I do, then I buy the dip. I don't wait for the dip. Never wait for the dip, because we could go to 85,000 here and then dip to 70,000. And you said no thank you to the opportunity to buy at 58. Like, don't get me wrong. There's absolutely no offense from my side. I just want to try and give you the input and that feedback, or suggestion or whatever, your responsibility. But from my side, your company is actually named Denmark. Jake, I don't know. Are you in US or are you in Denmark? Yeah. Non-caffeine tea. Yeah, I love coffee. I'm very I don't know if I could say I'm addicted to coffee, but yeah, I think I would have to say I am. CP, you got to run. Hey, thanks for hanging out. All of this here is on YouTube for playback. You can watch it later. But yeah, so I found a coffee I get delivered that is called Pete's Coffee. And what I found with coffee really is that usually there is a strong connection between price and quality. And Pete's Coffee is more expensive. It's like $10, but you know what? I can hardly go out to restaurants and bars and anywhere and spend money. So I treat myself to good coffee at home. I started buying that $10 for ground coffee. I love filter coffee, and it's so good. You don't need to put anything in it. I never have sugar in my coffee. I know this is Bitcoin irrelevant, but sometimes milk. But this coffee is so good. You can drink it straight. And let's see what Top Roller, good guy here from the East Coast of US. Meister is a person who cleared up Bitcoin versus S coins for me 5 years ago, and that's why he has helped so many people make the right choices of staying away from that junk garbage and focus on Bitcoin. And you know what? He was doing that since Bitcoin was $400, and the people that focused on Bitcoin are better off today. No, all right. Let's see here what my friend Poppy. Are you still hanging out there? Poppy, if you have time, let me know in the chat. I'll send you the invite link. Coffee Madness. No, don't wait. Dollar cost average every week. If it drops more than 15%, Poppy. So this is what Poppy did. Poppy bought. He started buying Bitcoin in December at $17,000. For the people who haven't heard it, on Toxic Happy Hour, like almost on a daily basis, pretty much every. We have lots of institutions on Toxic Happy Hour, jokes that have become institutionalized. One of them is that people keep screaming for Poppy's story, even though he gives it every time. That he started buying at 17,000, but it's a great point of the story. So it's great that Poppy's sharing it. And then he kept dollar cost averaging, buying on a very regular basis throughout the bear market. And so instead of having an average price of 17,000 Then he got it down to half of that or something like that, because he was buying Bitcoin all the way down to 3,400. It bottomed at 31, but that bottom happens so fast that it's hard to catch it. Peace out. All right, what do we got? People saying thanks to Poppy. Yes, he's creating a lot of free content in this space together with me, and on Twitter, he's a great memer as well. Top roller, gotta eat dinner. Thanks. So one of the best places to hang out, I would say, is in the Toxic Happy Hour chat. That's where we have a lot of fun. You got it. What else we got? Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll let you guys. You live in US. You bought the company from a man whose last name is Denmark. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I mean, I will be taking profits because at near the bull run top, I'm not going to do it anything significant now during the bull run because we're just going up so steep that it's very futile. And I would say I recommend against day trading Bitcoin in a bull run. But when we get near what I believe will be the top, I will be doing it, and then people can scream that it's terrible to trade it and you should hodl. Yes, that is the best thing for by far most people. But what you're doing, if you say take profit with 20% to wait and buy it back cheaper, and if you look at the possible scenario outcomes of your all-in investment in Bitcoin or whatever allocation you have to Bitcoin, it basically means you raise the floor of what the possible outcome could be. And that's something I think that is important to understand. And if anyway Bitcoin is going to $20 million, even if we have, say, 95% of it left, we're in a good position. Absolutely. But you don't need to buy a full Bitcoin. Bitcoin is so expensive. Look, there's twice as many dollar millionaires in the world. Forget about the 7 billion other people, but there's twice as many dollar millionaires in the world than there's Bitcoin. Having a full Bitcoin is a multi-millionaire thing. So you don't need to own a full one. In my opinion, 0.1 Bitcoin is future financial independence this decade, because it'll be worth $2 million, in my opinion, of purchasing power of today's money, not the diluted money of the future, but today's money, which is already diluted a lot since the Federal Reserve was created. But it's $2 million worth of buying power in a world where prices are allowed to fall, where we have deflation, and that is financial independence for you and your family. 0.1 Bitcoin, and today that can be bought for $6,000. You can own 0.1 Bitcoin. It's an amazing opportunity that mankind hasn't seen for 3,000 years. If you have 0% allocation to Bitcoin, you are shorting the best performing asset of 12 years. No bubbles are 12 years. 12 years means there's fundamental need for Bitcoin. The direction is up. It's up very steep. And it is ludicrous not to hold any Bitcoin whatsoever. You need to have an allocation. If people are super, super, super conservative, I would say minimum 20%. Personally, I'm at 100%. I don't own any other assets because I believe all other assets are crashing, denominated in Bitcoin. Is there any point in buying Bitcoin in euros on Etoro? Yeah, I mean, I know that US regulations, which are very strict, means you can't copy me on Etoro in US if you're outside US. Just buying and holding Bitcoin, look, that's going to be phenomenal in my opinion anyway. No one needs to trade the halving cycle. I am doing it because I believe I can nail it. Time will tell this year, but it's something that I find interesting, and I believe I'm able to increase the amount of Bitcoin I have by doing that, and from the people copying me. But there's no guarantees in anything in life except deaths and taxes. Anything else is with a certain level of probability and risk. All right. So I think Michael Saylor is now a hero. Absolutely, it is. When he's selling, he will never sell his Bitcoin. Michael Saylor has publicly stated that he will never ever sell his Bitcoin. So the thing is, once people understand Bitcoin, you don't want to sell, anything significant of your Bitcoin apart from what you need. Well, apart from me doing what I'm doing on Etoro. But when Bitcoin is the only money left in the world, you buy things with Bitcoin because it's money of the world, in my opinion. So yeah, you are most welcome, Darrow. Feel free to join our toxic happy hours for a good laugh. But do bring your irony and sarcasm because we're giving Poppy and I, who's still in the chat, are giving each other a hard time. We're having fun with it. Yeah, as Poppy is saying, buy what you can afford. Let you sleep at night, especially if you have a family you're responsible for and everything. I'm an all-in type of person. That is not recommendable, but it's just who I am. So far, so good. When do I think that Chase, Walmart, Amazon, Excel will come out and announce they're holding in BTC? I'd be surprised if none of them come out this year. I think at least one of them. By the end of the year, it could be all of them. No, I don't have a Bitcoin tattoo because, tattoos are permanent more or less, and in case I change my mind. So Bitcoin is tattooed in my brain. Let's put it that way. All right. Currently, no more questions. Everyone, thank you for watching. If anyone has any questions left, and there are no dumb questions, ask the most simple things. I'm happy to help you. That's why I'm here. That's why we're live right now on YouTube. So throw out any questions you may have focused on Bitcoin. Otherwise, it may not be answered. And if not, we'll call it a day. But let's see what you got. If there's any questions left, please throw them into the chat. Still none? All right, guys, I am going to end the live stream. You thought Bitcoin fixes taxation. Well, it removes probably the most important taxation, and that is the indirect taxation by stealing the value of people's savings. That's a big part of taxation. Also, it's going to be a lot harder for governments to track economic activity when everything is not going through surveillance, banks, etc. And I'm not saying break the law. I'm just saying, if you don't like it, you can move somewhere else. So yeah, Bitcoin means that politicians need very good justification for their taxes. Yeah, why don't I ever let Poppy speak? When we're doing Toxic Happy Hour, I know look, I'm a passionate person and I speak too much to the extent that when I'm doing a stream alone like I'm doing now, I ruin my voice. But yeah, I'm really trying to let Poppy speak at least as much as me. I think I'm much better than the beginning, but we all have strengths and weaknesses. Poppy is a very good listener and a great person. You'll find him on Twitter under, if you search for poplord.hodl. All right. Oh, we got Potter's BTC pins still. How's it going, mate? At the end, Danish plus thank you so much for the love. We love all of you Bitcoiners back. We believe we're in the process of helping, all of us together, making this a better world. All the fighting from the first to the first, making the salary stretch. It's all due to inflationary money. With deflationary money, you cannot believe how wonderful the world would be in 2030 going forward, in my opinion. Of course, you can't rule out, the likely event of nuclear war, but I believe that, that won't happen. We're going to have a wonderful, we will have a renaissance starting in this decade where a deflationary money, a hard a hard, sound money outside of government reach will benefit humanity substantially. All right, everyone. I think. Wait. When we add fund to copy, how long does it take to purchase Bitcoin? It happens instantly. Make sure you copy open trades. Otherwise, you have dollars sitting on the sideline until I make a trade. And I don't make many trades. I buy a little bit, the dips here during the bull run. So if you choose open trades when you either start copying me or add funds to the copy, you immediately get the same allocation as in my portfolio. And that's, I would definitely, not financial advice, but that's what I recommend you do if you want the performance of my portfolio, which currently is above 500%, 12 months trailing. Did Andrews prevent a new all-time high with this street? You know what? Maybe it's my fault, because we have a lot of good buyers of Bitcoin out there watching that weren't buying Bitcoin because they were busy here. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for copying on eToro. Those of you that are copiers, for followers, thank you for asking questions. I love doing what I'm doing here. I know Puppy does the same, unfortunately prohibited. Go check out subscribing to the channel, hitting notifications button, then you'll easily be notified next time when either I or Toxic Happy Hour with Puppy goes live. And, join that journey of education of Bitcoin, spreading the world, and having fun while we do it. So on that note, thank you, everyone, and see you on the next one. And I'm on Adam Meister. Search for Adam Meister's channel if you're interested on YouTube. Adam Meister on 9 a.m. PST tomorrow. See you on the next one. And is blocking all-time high. That's right. All right. See you on the next one, guys. Bye. Thanks.